Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to Wobble Enjoy Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you're I need to go for a wardrobe change. I'll be back. I'll just change. Change is good. So if you are a regular around these here parts, then thank you very much for the continuous support, but you also know that I talk NFL throughout the off season. If you are new around these here parts, and I am new to you, I'm not the most knowledgeable man on the planet when it comes to gridiron, but I'm passionate about it. I really do enjoy the game of American footy, and I've been supporting the Seattle Seahawks since before they made their debut appearance in a Super Bowl way back in 2002, 2003 sort of years. So I've been a fan of Seattle for over, 20 years now. Doesn't that make me friggin' old? And to kick things off for 2024, a blockbuster, Kansas City Chiefs host the Baltimore Ravens from Arrowhead Stadium. These odds are coming to us from Sportsbet. The Ravens are $2.29 outsiders. The Kansas City Chiefs are $1.65 favourites. This will be the 14th game between the Ravens and the Chiefs, and this will be the first at Arrowhead Stadium for the Ravens since the year 2019. As a matter of fact, the Ravens have not won at Arrowhead Stadium since the year 2012, and the Chiefs lead the overall head-to-head record. Baltimore making a huge signing. Derrick Henry playing for the Ravens this season. Lamar Jackson was already half a friggin' running back, but now pressure is off Lamar Jackson because the king, Derrick Henry, is their running back this season. So it's just going to make the Ravens offense surely a little bit more, a lot more dangerous, considering Lamar Jackson can now focus on throwing that pill and then choosing when he can make one of his destructive 15-yard plays. But with Derrick Henry, absolutely enormous acquisition for Baltimore Ravens. For the Kansas City Chiefs, it's more or less the same. But this year, in week one, they're going to have Travis Kelce playing for them. And if you recall last year in week one, they did not have Kelce play for them, and they did miss him. Again, this is happening out at Arrowhead Stadium, and I always try to stick to the formula or to the rule. You always back the champions. And I know that the Chiefs sort of made everyone look a bit foolish with that way of thinking, but I'm going to tip the Kansas City Chiefs here in any event. I'm going to tip a really close scoreline. It has been very, very close over the past 3 or 4 meetings between these two franchises, and I'm going to go for a scoreline of something akin to a 21-18 sort of a scoreline. Only 24 hours later, from Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil, the Philadelphia Eagles, technically the home side in this game, host the Green Bay Packers, the first ever Brazil game in the NFL. On Sportsbet, the Packers are $2.20, Philadelphia are $1.71. This will be the 48th match between the two franchises, and Green Bay lead the head-to-head. They last met in 2022, and Philadelphia won a very high-scoring game on that evening, but by and large, for the past decade, maybe more, Green Bay has dominated this fixture. Going into this game, however, the Green Bay Packers, they're light on running backs. 2 of them are 50-50 shots, but are very much underdone. And then their superstar running back in A.J. Dillon is injured and out for the season with a neck issue. So best of wishes to him. For the Philadelphia Eagles, you could say that they won the off-season. They've made some very shrewd signings, one of them being Mr. Barkley as well. So Philadelphia Eagles, they had a lackluster year last season. I think they're coming back in a big way this year. Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers had a breakout season, and now he is the hunted. He surprised everyone, but now everyone knows all about him, or just a little bit more about him. So he is the hunted. It's going to be a different ball game for Mr. Jordan Love at quarterback for the Packers this season. I think it will be a strong year for Green Bay, but for this game, the Philadelphia Eagles are just a little bit more healthier. They've been more impressive in the offseason. I'm going to tip the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one in a close game. Soldier Field is the venue for the next game. Tennessee Titans away to the Chicago Bears. The Bears are $1.46 favourites. The Tennessee Titans are sitting about $2.60. This will be the 14th game between the two franchises, and they last met in the year 2020, where the Titans won on that occasion. Chicago last defeated the Titans in the year 2012, but they have never defeated the Tennessee Titans as a Titans franchise, but they once did defeat the old Houston Oilers all the way back, I think, in like the year 1995. But the Titans, they're undefeated at Soldier Field in their 20 plus year history, just under 30 years, just about. So a little bit of a bogey side here for the Chicago Bears. And the Bears, they're coming in with a lot of hype. They came in with a bit of hype last season, but now they're really coming in with a lot of excitement. And the Tennessee Titans, I feel like that they're going to be a plucky, at times unexpectedly tough team. I think the Titans are going to jag an upset win here or there, like big upset victories throughout 2024. But I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be very, very plucky. This game, I'm going to choose the Chicago Bears to win this contest. Just a close, like 1-10 sort of a scoreline. We're off to Buffalo, New York, where we see the Bills host the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are $3.55. The Buffalo Bills are $1.31. And this game will be just the 13th in history between the two franchises. They last met in 2020, and the Cardinals won on that occasion. However, that was in Arizona. The Cardinals last traveled to Buffalo in the year 2016, and they have not won in Buffalo since 1971, when they were known as the St. Louis Cardinals. So the Arizona Cardinals have never won in Buffalo. The St. Louis Cardinals won back in 1971. So I think they can thank their lucky stars that it's not happening in the month of December for this game for the Cardinals. Buffalo Bills this year, I feel like, I think they might take a step down this year. I think they're going to be a wild card entry at best. I would be pretty stunned if they made themselves booked a trip towards the AFC Championship game, to be honest with you. I think they're just going to take a step below this year. For the Arizona Cardinals, they could be a little bit slicker than last season. And even in saying that, at times the Cardinals were better than projected last year. Kyler Murray with a full preseason under his belt, hopefully a full season as well when all things are said and done. I think the Cardinals are going to give the Buffalo Bills a scare here, but I'll err on the side of caution and say that Buffalo win this game 1-13. Atlanta Falcons host the Pittsburgh Steelers from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and on Sportsbet, it is the Falcons who are the favourites at $1.53. The Steelers are $2.57 outsiders, and the real big storyline, I think, in this game, one of them anyway, is the quarterback thread. Is the Falcons' Kirk Cousins, is he going to help the Falcons get over the line against the Steelers? Or, and I never thought I would say this, and I have a mate who is online and is a Steelers fan. Shout out to you, bro, but I never thought in my wildest dreams that Russell Wilson would end up as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Oh my freaking days. Both sides looking to return to playoffs this year, and I think the Steelers are going to be a huge chance of returning to the wild card. I don't think they'll win their division, but they're going to be tough. And to give Russell Wilson more time at the back to do what he can do, that's a scary prospect for anyone. For the Atlanta Falcons, there is a sense of excitement for them as well. I don't know what their defense is going to be like, but I think their attack could be pretty exciting to watch. The thing that is tipping tipping me over the edge towards selecting the Steelers is that the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 15 of the 18 encounters already between the Steelers and the Falcons. Atlanta have not defeated Pittsburgh since the year 2006. I think the Steelers are going to go to Atlanta and win in a toughly fought contest. I'm going to go to the Steelers to win this game 1-13. Down to Hard Rock Cafe Stadium we go. The Dolphins versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in a Floridian fight. And the Dolphins are $1.57 favourites. The Jaguars are $2.48 outsiders. That's some really nice value on the Jaguars. This will be just the 12th Floridian fight between the two, and it's Jacksonville who lead the overall head-to-head record just by the one victory. The last time they met, Jacksonville Jaguars won on that occasion. This is their first trip to Miami since 2018. The last time that Miami defeated the Jaguars in front of the home crowd was in the year 2012. The Dolphins, under coach Mike McDaniels, they got to really pull their socks up. But just recently, only maybe 3 days ago, the coach got extended. I think that's kind of surprising. Like, there has definitely been an improvement in the entire franchise here for the Dolphins. And with Tyreek Hill still floating around as arguably the game's best player, besides maybe Patrick Mahomes, I don't know, it's go time here for the Dolphins, man. They've had the roster for 2 to 3 years now, and it's time for them to go a week or two deeper in playoffs. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars, arguably the most disappointing team of last season, should come back in a big way, and they're a huge chance to win their division. It's going to be a very, very tough division to win, though. But they're a chance to win, though, if they can play their best footy. I am going to go the Miami Dolphins here, but if you can find value on the Jacksonville Jaguars, take it. Like anytime touchdown scorer or what have you. I can't begrudge you if you do choose the Jaguars, but for me, I'm just going to go for the Dolphins in this one. Cincinnati Bengals host the New England Patriots. The Bengals are $1.25. The Patriots are $4.15. This will be the 28th game between the two. The Patriots have the head-to-head record. They last met in 2022 in New England, and the Bengals won on that occasion. The Patriots last played in Cincinnati in the year 2019, and they have not lost in Cincinnati since the year 2013. This year, Joe Burrow, he kicks things off in week 1, but there's players on this offensive core that have been around, since the Super Bowl, and it's a different looking offense. There are some players there that I've really liked and grew accustomed to, and now they're gone. Jamar Chase is still there, but the Bengals look a little different, and I'm just a little bit nervous about them this year, but not this weekend, because the New England Patriots, they're projected to be the number one, or get the number 1 draft pick for next year, i.e. the wooden spoon for 2024. I'm going to tip the Bengals in this one. I won't go 14 plus. I'll go 1-13. But as far as the Bengals' chances this year, I don't know. I'm just a little bit nervous for them. From Lucas Oil Stadium, the Colts host the Texans. The Texans come into the game as $1.66 favourites. The Colts are $2.27 outsiders. And there was a game before that I mentioned where it was a battle of the quarterbacks. In this game, it's a battle of the younger quarterbacks. We've got the young Anthony Richardson for the Indianapolis Colts, and then you got Jonathan Taylor out the back doing what he can do. But then CJ Stroud, the hottest prospect just about, young prospect anyway, in all of the NFL. Again, I know you got Patrick Mahomes and you've got Joe Burrow and XYZ, but CJ Stroud took over the hearts and minds, the imagination of everyone last year, and the Texans have improved, and there is every chance that they can feature in an AFC championship game. But again, it's akin to what I said before. They sort of took everyone by surprise last year, and now they are the hunted. How are they going to deal with that sort of pressure? They are away to Indianapolis, and they did go to the Colts last year to only just win I think that was to get into the playoffs, or that was a playoff game, but in any event, it was late in the season. The Colts gave them a hell of a scare. I'm going to say the Texans win this game. This is a divisional rivalry as well, but I'm going to have the Texans to win this game, a really, really close game, 1 to 10 points sort of a scoreline. From MetLife Stadium, the Giants host the Vikings on Sportsbet. The Vikings are $1.80. The Giants are $2.05. This will be the 32nd game between the two. The last time that these two sides met was in the 2022-2023 playoffs, where the Giants defeated the Vikings. Huge upset victory for the Giants in that playoff game. Minnesota Vikings, they last played the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in the year 2019, and they won on that occasion. As a matter of fact, Minnesota have won 8 of the past 11 games against the Giants since the year 2005. And unfortunately, their first round quarterback draft pick, or round 3, but their draft quarterback pick had his season come to an end approximately 3 weeks ago. So they're dealing well and truly with a second string quarterback. The Giants, I can't really commentate too much about them. I mean, between me commentating and talking about the NRL and then coming in to try and talk about 32 teams of the NFL, there's only so much content one man can soak up. So I'm not too sure about their roster, but at $2.05 at home, round 1, upsets happen. I'm going to go the New York Giants in this one. For the 60th time, we will see the Saints versus the Panthers. The Saints have the overall head-to-head record, and coming into the game, they're the favourites. $1.47 to take on the $2.77 Carolina Panthers. Over the past 2 years, one team has swept the other, so there's no real advantage venue-wise, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know too much about this game, but I'm going to go the Saints to win this game in a close one. Chargers versus Raiders at SoFi Stadium, and the Raiders are $2.50 and the Chargers are $1.50. Considering that Justin Herbert, I think his season is done, or at least Justin Herbert is going to miss half the year, quarterback for the Chargers, that's massive value already on the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, this will be the 130th time that these two franchises have clashed. There is a 6-game win-loss pattern that has formed between the two rivals, and it is due to fall down for a Los Angeles Chargers victory this weekend. Raiders, they last won at SoFi last year, so SoFi doesn't hold any fears for the Raiders whatsoever. And the Raiders, off the top of the dome, they've made some improvements. I think that this is going to be a bit of a disappointing year for the Chargers, even though they've got new coach Harbaugh coming in. I think this might be a bit of a disastrous year. They've also, I think they lost Eckler, or they lost one of their special wide receivers. I don't think it was Eckler, but they lost one of their wide receivers. It's going to be a bit of a disappointing year for the Chargers, I feel. And at $2.50, I'm going to take the Raiders. This is arguably the second best match of week number 1. Cleveland Browns host the Dallas Cowboys. This will be the 33rd match between the two franchises, and believe it or not, the Cleveland Browns have the head-to-head record against the Dallas Cowboys. And coming into the game, the Dallas Cowboys are $2.22 outsiders. The Browns are $1.70. Cleveland have not defeated Dallas on home soil since the year 1994. And the question, well and truly, is Deshaun Watson, what kind of form is he going to be in, not just this weekend, but for the rest of the season? But we know that Browns defense is no effing joke, bro. This Browns unit, they could be very special this year. The Browns, they really could be very, very special. They were so impressive last year, and head coach as well was brilliant for him. And the Dallas Cowboys this year, look, everyone's been saying it for maybe 15 years now, maybe 10 years. Maybe this will be the year that they get to the NFC Championship game. So that's where the doubt would be when it comes to the at the $2.22 price about them this weekend against the Browns. You wouldn't have read about it 3 years ago that the Browns being the favourites over the Cowboys in week 1 of a season. You wouldn't have dreamt about it. You would have laughed out of the building. But the Cowboys, they've locked some players down. I think they signed up CD Lamb, I'm pretty sure, about 2 days ago. So that's a big coup for them. Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I don't know if it's being beamed in Australia, but this is going to be a great game. And Dak Prescott, what are you going to do, mate? What's Deshaun Watson going to do in this game? I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys win. I think looking at that value at 222, I think maybe you could be sucked into the Cleveland Browns fantasy run that they could go on this year. It'd be fantastic if they got off to a good start. But I'm going to go to the Dallas Cowboys to win this game in a close one. From Raymond James Stadium, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are $2.53. The Buccaneers are $1.55. And remarkably, the Washington side, they have a decent enough record in Tampa Bay. They're on a 2-game winning streak in Tampa Bay. So technically the last time that a Washington DC team lost in Tampa Bay was in the year 2007. And as a matter of fact, the last time that these two sides played was in 2021, and the Buccaneers weren't doing too bad in 2021. The Washington Commanders defeated the Buccaneers that day. So the Commanders, they're a bit of a bogey side for the Buccaneers over the past decade or so. But I'm going to go the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game against the Washington Commanders. Probably just keep it in between that 1-13. The Los Angeles Rams travel to Detroit Ford Field to take on the Lions, and the Lions are $1.52. The Rams are $2.61. This is the first weekend of the playoffs from last year. This is the rematch to that classic game where the Lions got their first playoff victory in 30 plus years or so. No better way to kick it off for these two clubs as well. This is going to be a huge occasion, and I'm going to tip the Detroit Lions to win this game 1-10. Aaron Donald out for the Rams. I mean, not just out, retired for the Rams. Huge cultural loss. Huge cultural loss for them. I'm going to go the Detroit Lions to get the dub. Monday at 6 a.m., the Seattle Seahawks hosted the Denver Broncos. Seattle, they find themselves as $1.36 favorites. The Broncos at $3.28. This will be the 58th match between the two franchises, and Denver Broncos have the overall head-to-head record. However, the Denver Broncos, they have not won in Seattle since the year 2002. The past 3 matches in a row have been decided by 6 points or less. Seattle have won 3 of the past 4 matches against the Denver Broncos since the year 2014. That includes the Super Bowl. And just quickly, one final salute to head coach or ex-head coach Peter Carroll. Thank you so much for your service, for what you did, man. The day that he announced his retirement from Seattle was one of the weirdest, greyest old days I've ever had as a sports fan, whether it be in Seattle or for the North Queensland Cowboys, what have you. That was a terribly, terribly sad, emotional day. I've seldom ever felt that sort of emotion being a sports fan before. But here we are with brand new coach Mike Macdonald, and he has come from Baltimore and from a couple of other places as well with a hell of a defensive resume. And that excites me a lot. And when you got somebody with the talent of Devin Witherspoon at the back, who has now become the highest selling jersey for the Seattle Seahawks right now, 21. Seriously, seriously exciting. However, I want to make mention of Geno Smith. I've always backed this fella since he made his debut for the Seahawks. Yes, I know that he played for Washington and what have you beforehand, but I've always been a fan of Geno Smith, and I think there was a time where everyone was underestimating and underrating Geno Smith, and there was a period there, I think maybe with a month left to go in the regular season, while Seattle didn't make it, everybody did sit back and go, oh, he's actually he's actually going all right, Geno Smith. And there was a scare, an injury scare for him approximately a month ago now. I think it was a hip injury that sent a shockwave through camp. Probably not as big of a shockwave as the one that DK Metcalf sent through to the entire freaking team when he took off his teammate's helmet and smashed him over the face with it. Let alone that, there was a spot fire earlier on or later on throughout the day, I think with Tariq Woolen as well. Man, Mike Macdonald had him fired up in the preseason. So what are they going to do in week 1 when they take on the Denver Broncos, who are, well, they're still paying for that deal that they made with the Seattle Seahawks all those years ago for Russell Wilson. Oh, one of the biggest clangers of all time. Still walking around with the cigar butt in our mouths. Us Seattle Seahawks fans, we are, that's for sure. And then the offensive line, there's some maturity there, Geno Smith primarily, and then you've got the elite weapons with Metcalf and Lockett on either side of the paddock. Love Lockett, absolutely adore the work that he gets through. But Jake Bobo and Jackson Smith-Njigba, I have watched enough footy to know when I see a touch of class. This Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's got a special piece of class to him. Watch him potentially explode this season. And then we got the draft pick Byron Murphy as well to help out our defensive or offensive line. It's an exciting time, and I'm fully prepared to be as patient as humanly possible as one can be towards his sports team. So I'm kind of prepping myself to not be a playoff team, but at the same time, we've got the team to do it. The team is there to actually reach the wild card at the very least. It's a very, very competitive division. I have to be honest about that. The Denver Broncos as well, they've got the young rookie Bo Nix, who's going to be playing quarterback for them this year. And I don't know. I don't know about their chances for 2024. I think their strength is going to be their defense, but I think the Seattle Seahawks, I think they're going to get them. They will get them. Go Seattle. Go Seahawks. And finally, on Monday Night Football, the New York Jets travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. And the 49ers are favourites at $1.49. And the New York Jets are $2.70 outsiders. 49ers are the favourites at $1.49. That's enough. That's enough. I'm going to tip the San Francisco 49ers. That's it. New York Jets, they will be very competitive this year. They're going to be fascinating to watch. And I do touch wood that Aaron Rodgers goes through this year injury-free. I do hope he doesn't injure himself. But the San Francisco lineup, holy, it is special. It's special, but then they get to the Super Bowl and then they just have the worst luck, man. So San Fran, they're going to be deep within it again this season. But I think they're going to have a really stern test against the New York Jets. And might I add just very, very quickly, the last time they played, it was at New York. That was against New York Jets. The last time they played in San Francisco, they won. And that was in the year 2016. So technically, the Jets have not lost in San Francisco since the year 2008. And I think they'll cop their first loss at Levi Stadium for the first time since 2008 against the San Francisco 49ers. But it'll be a pretty tough battle with that Jets defense being what it is. Oh, thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you follow me tips. But I'll be back again next weekend for week number 2. And again, if you're new around here, work with me. I'm going to get better as the season goes along, as I get a little bit more time here and there and learn more about the players here and there as well. So stick with me. I promise you things are going to get better. But No, I'm excited. I'm so excited that the NFL is back, but it does mean that the sun is setting on the rugby league this year. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a very nice weekend. Go Seahawks. Adios.